So, the purpose of this video lesson is to briefly describe the standard trade model in contemporary international economics. So, let me start by briefly summarizing the evolution of the trade models we have considered in the previous lessons. So, the classic Ricardian model. Remember that the classic Ricardian model models production possibilities simply by single resource labor. So there's allocation of labor between sectors, and this simple model is already enough to convey the essential idea of comparative advantage. However, we cannot talk about the distribution of income between labor and capital, so workers and capital owners. The specific factors model then takes into the capital input also, and in that sense it's a bit richer, and it can also capture the short-term consequences of trade on the distribution of income. The Heckscher-Ohlin model is then further development that takes these previous models into account in some sense, but taking into account both labor and capital. And the Heckscher-Ohlin model emphasizes this relative abundance or scarcity of labor and capital as the sources of comparative advantage. But we remember from the previous video lesson that the Leontief paradox gave some empirical challenge for this predictions of the Heckscher-Ohlin model. And one of the ways to reconcile this critique was to also take into account the differences in technology across different countries. So this leads to the so-called standard trade model of the trading economy. So it can be seen as a generalization of the previous models. And some of the important elements of the contemporary standard trade model, which is nowadays very well established, is that we can summarize the productive capacity of an economy using the production possibility frontier. And this production possibility frontier depends on both on the technology and the factors of production. So it's not only the scarcity of labor and capital or abundance of labor and capital, but also technology can be different across different countries. So in other words, the production functions can differ across countries. So these are the essential differences that give rise to trading. So differences in technology and differences in the endowments of labor and capital. So taking into account both of these, then the production possibilities frontier determines a country's relative supply schedule, meaning that what kind of goods the country is producing and what kind of goods the country is exporting and importing. And finally, in this kind of trade models, usually they are general equilibrium models where world equilibrium is determined by relative demand and relative supply of the goods. So what then really changes if compared to the Heckscher-Ohlin model? So let me come back to this diagram that I earlier used to illustrate the Heckscher-Ohlin model, which was taken from a Wikipedia article. So remember that in the Heckscher-Ohlin model, here we have these two production possibility frontiers of the countries. So country one is this from GA1 to GA2, and then this frontier of country two is then GB1 to GB2. So they're countries A and B. According to the Heckscher-Ohlin model, the differences in technology do not cause this kind of differences in the production possibility frontier, but rather it's only the endowments of labor and capital make these countries different. In the standard trade model, there can be also differences in technology, so which can also give further rise to this kind of differences in the production possibility frontiers. But the situation is otherwise very similar. So of course the preferences could also differ across the countries, But based on these consumer preferences and consumer tastes, and there is some world demand and supply for this two goods or more than two goods. So these indifference curves represents preferences, and based on the preferences, we have a demand for different consumption goods, and then these production possibility frontiers. On the other hand, they determine the supply schedules, and then in the world equilibrium, then supply equals demand at global level, and that determines then what countries are exporting, how much they produce, how much they export, how much they import, and what is their consumption pattern, and what kind of terms of trade then will result. So this completes my discussion of the trading model. In the next theme, we move to consider economies of scale and its importance for causing motivating trade between countries. See you then. Bye bye.